Hey everyone, this is Krisha here. And what I wanted to record for you today is quite personal. But I wanted to give you a little bit of behind the scenes look into how I process things from a more spiritual perspective. And so I'll let you in a little bit of background about what's going on. So right now it's April 12th or something, and we are in the whatever point of coronavirus, middle, near the end, who knows? It's been going on for a while now, and there's a lot of energy swirling around right now, and it's impacting a lot of us, myself included. I'm not immune to what's been going on. And I chose several years ago to um, quit my corporate job and to start working as a healer. And because that is my ultimate calling in this lifetime, is to be that. And for me to even say that is a lot, because it's like a healer, like that's kind of a big deal. And yet I'm starting now to really accept that that is my job. And I don't take it lightly. I do a lot of work on myself in order to be able to help others heal. And I might not look like your traditional healer. I might not sound like your traditional healer. I mean, I'm not, all love and light and, the traditional sort of woo-woo imagery that comes up for this kind of deep spiritual work. And not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just, there's a certain image that comes with that. And I don't think I really match that image, which is fine. And so it took me a really long time to actually accept the fact that this is who I am. This is how I'm here to deliver my message. And it's not even my message, it's the message. And I'm just the conduit. This body is literally just the conduit for the information and the message that has been given to me to flow through to you, so that you can deeply improve your life. And my big whys, the deeper part of why I do this work is really because I have a very strong belief that we are all here for a very specific reason. We all are. And it's really, it's always, even since I was a little girl, it was very, very painful for me, and it still is painful for me, to see people who are not being their fully expressed selves. To see people who are, they dim themselves, they close themselves down emotionally and spiritually and creatively. They just don't express themselves for fear of, being ridiculed or criticized, or they don't believe in themselves, or they feel like they're wrong. They feel like they're an imposter and all that kind of stuff. And I've had all of that. Even just recording this is bringing up a lot of stuff for me, because it's a raw exposure of a side of me that I really haven't been forthcoming about in the public realm a lot. And yet this is what makes up 99% of behind the scenes, how I go through my day-to-day life, how I roll. And the intuitive hits that I've been getting a lot lately is to expose this side of me more, and step more into this role as a healer. Somebody the other day called me a priestess. Okay. I was like, you see me as a priestess? And she was like, oh yeah. And that still hasn't fully landed on me yet. But when she read out what that is, it was like, oh yeah, I guess I kind of am. But I take these things really seriously. And there is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes here in order for me to even say that word out loud, to claim that, to say anything like that. It's not some sort of like, oh, look at me being like all this and that. It's something that is really, really deep within me, that I feel as if, I have the authority to be able to own and express at this point in my journey. And so over the last several months, it's been a very interesting ride. There were a lot of shifts and changes in my personal life and in my business life over 2019 into 2020, and a lot of which I have not shared publicly. And I feel it's time now to start sharing a little bit about what's been going on. Um, Basically, in a nutshell, last year, 2019, was the year that I really, really, really made an effort to start to just listen to me and only me, and really work on creating a strong connection to my soul, to my higher self, to myself, without the external distraction of what everybody else thinks, including coaches and mentors and spiritual guides and all that kind of stuff. I had one person that I was working with, and that was my human design mentor. And she was teaching me about my human design and teaching me how to be a human design guide. And so that I could teach it and give it to the world. And so in that journey, what happened was what happens when you go on a spiritual journey, and that is the shedding of the ego. It is the shedding, it is the raw exposure of the behaviors and mindset and belief systems and patterns and all that kind of gunk, that gets in the way, really coming to the surface to be seen, to be healed, to be loved, and to be transcended. And transcended means where it's no longer something that is taking you out anymore. Okay. And we all know this is self-sabotage, right? And self-sabotage is a big part of the work I do with people, is not giving them sabotage, but identifying it and, helping them move, like be aware of their self-sabotaging behavior, where it comes from and how to overcome it, so that it doesn't knock you off course anymore, right? And that is a lot of the work that I have been doing on myself over the last several years. And last year was, 2019 was a very, very, very deep dive into that. And it was crazy. It was like everything that I thought I wanted just went away. It just dissolved. It was no longer true for me anymore. It was really incredible. I just come off like a very successful year in my coaching business, revenue wise, client wise, exposure wise, everything. It was a great, great year. It was a lot of fun, and I was exhausted. I didn't feel in alignment. I was like two different people. A lot of the response I was having from an internal basis was ego driven. I was very like, I'm the man kind of thing, like I'm the woman. And I didn't like that. It was not in alignment with who I am. And when I started to like see that I was out of integrity in a lot of areas, truth is one of my highest values, freedom and truth and growth and love. When I started to see that I was out of alignment and that I was out of integrity, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this anymore. And so what I ended up doing over the course of 2019 was, while I was like really getting honed in on myself, my spirituality, my higher truth, my inner knowing, going even deeper into my intuitive self than I've ever gone before. I also started to let go of all of the things that I thought I wanted in this lifetime, all the money I thought I was going to be making, all the stuff I thought I was going to be doing, needed to fall away in order for my true purpose to rise to the surface, to rise to the occasion. And in that time frame, I turned the dial down on my business a lot and stopped taking in any clients. I stopped making sales and I stopped taking clients, and I really literally lived off savings for a while. In that time, I left my marriage. In that time, I left my marital home and moved into a place of my own in Toronto, and created visitation arrangements between myself and my ex for my children. In that time, a lot of other things happened. A lot. And the savings disappeared after a while. But I was still not ready yet to bring on clients because I knew I had more healing to do. And I take my work so seriously that I was willing to go to no income, like literally no income, in order to be able to continue to heal, so that I could be an even more powerful healer on the other side for the people who I'm meant to serve. All of this work has been for me and also for the people I'm meant to serve. It's not just so that I can be a better version of myself, which it has gotten me there. However, what I now know to be true is that this work is my purpose. And whether I get paid for it or not is, whatever. But it's like what I'm here to do. And you can see, like, I'm even struggling saying it because it is so deep. It is something that is so deeply innate within me that, it's hard to articulate this stuff. And when I really stepped into that and not decided, but when I accepted that, I surrendered into this. I surrendered into, okay, well, this is what I'm here to do. And throughout my seeking lifetime, I had lots of people tell me that maybe I should stop seeking, that maybe I should stop growing, that maybe I should stop going so deep. And I always thought to myself, what? That doesn't sound right to me. And now I understand. It's because it's like telling somebody like who can sing to stop singing. Our creativity can come out in many different ways. And for me, my creativity is in this space. It is in the realm of connecting to something inside and outside at the same time, bringing both of those energies in at the same time into the human body so that we can truly sense and feel what it is that we're here for and express that in any way, shape, or form that we do. And we don't always have to make money out of it. Like, our purpose doesn't have to be something that we're making money out of. We could be an architect. We could be somebody, one of these amazing, amazing souls working at a grocery store right now. And that could be it. You could be so happy just doing that work. Maybe not so much right now, but so happy doing that work. Doesn't mean you're not in your purpose. Your purpose is something that's separate from your career, and it can also be your career. Okay. So I wanted to just express that because a lot of the people who I work with are entrepreneurs. They are professionals. They are, vice presidents and CEOs, and they want to know what their purpose is. And sometimes their purpose, it doesn't match what they're doing for their job. But what they can do is bring their purpose to whatever it is that they are doing for their job. So that architect could bring their purpose of whatever it is that they're here for when they understand that there is an as above, so below, when they understand that there is that inner connection to yourself, those inner moments when you start to really hear your intuition and really hear the voice of your soul. And when you start hearing that, and then you start to be able to connect that to the universe, to God, to spirit, to Christ, whatever language or word you want to use, okay? That doesn't matter. When you can connect those two worlds, it's like kapow. Now your purpose becomes, it forms, it takes a physical form inside of you. It's not something that is outside of you. And I love this so much, because to have this sensation within you is richer than anything. It's richer than any amount of money that you can ever have in your bank account. Ever. We all know money doesn't buy happiness. We know that. What does it buy? It buys privilege. It buys, it buys things, right? And also it doesn't buy happiness. And also it is an extremely beautiful and effective tool to enable us to be able to continue delivering our magic. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't have money. Yeah, we should. And we need to call it in from that place of beauty and love rather than lack and scarcity and fear. Okay. So I'm just saying that a lot of people equate those physical things that we can purchase with money, like cars and you know, clothing and all the rest of it, with our happiness. And that's not, or our purpose. And that's, those two are not related. They're two separate things. So let me pull this back in now. What I'm about to share with you is an oracle card spread. So if you're not interested in that, then you could probably just stop this video at this point. If you've gotten what you needed, hearing a little bit about my story, then, you know, thank you for watching and goodbye. I'll probably be on here for maybe another 20, 30 minutes going through this particular spread. And I'm just feeling called to share this with you, to show you, to demonstrate how our intuition works and how we can use things like oracle cards to be able to bring those messages to the surface and understand in English what our soul is trying to tell us, because sometimes we get these messages and they're not entirely clear. They're not, it's not, our intuition is not a roadmap. So before you go, let me just talk to you a little bit about our intuition in this soul work and like why this is so important. So in this book, actually, she writes it out, and I thought, oh, you know what, I'm just going to read this. So there's a field of consciousness where all wisdom resides, a field where all the answers to all of the questions that you could possibly fathom live, a field where past, present, and future exist simultaneously, where the wisdom of the heavens and earth calls you by name, and where what you are seeking is also seeking you. A field where all soul contracts, history, and guidance whisper eternal, a field where the book of your soul is open for you to flick through. And this basically is you. Like, you have all the answers, and it doesn't feel like it. I know, but you do. You need to show up and listen. If you want to deepen your relationship with the subtle realms, you need to commit to spending more time with your soul, which means yourself. If you want to light up the room with your presence, you've got to turn on your light daily. If you want your life to be in alignment with the mysterious force that governs all life, which we all know exists, you know, you've got to work on this. It might seem obvious and simple, but most people miss it. And it's true. Most people do miss it. The biggest part of the work that I have done on myself is I don't just read the books. I also apply the knowledge. So a lot of people will read and I used to be like this. Okay. So this isn't a judgment, but a lot of people will read the book and then be like, well, I know. And that's all it is. It's just knowledge. It's not embodiment. And so a lot of the work that I teach my clients is taking it out of here and putting it in your body, which means it's embodiment. It's now how you are, rather than something that you just know up here. Like, yeah, I know this, but then your results in your 3D life, your real life, are not changing. And it's because you haven't fully embodied the knowledge. It's just something that you can recite. Somebody said something to me the other day. If you can't recite the knowledge while doing something else, then it's not embodied. It's just up here, right? So go back to any of those books that you've read, any of the money books, any of the spiritual books, any of that kind of stuff, and ask yourself, do you remember anything that was actually written in that? What do you remember? Whatever you do remember is probably embodied because it hit you in a certain way, or it exposed something in you to really look at. And maybe it was painful, or maybe, there was something there that rattled you and it stuck. And that is what this work is. It's about taking it from it being information in your mind and into your body, so that when your sabotages do come up, when the doubts do come up, when the fear does come up, because it will, you have a way in which to navigate, to feel it, to sense it coming up, to know it's coming up before it knocks you out, and to be able to navigate around it. So this is all the work that I teach people how to do behind the scenes. Okay, so anybody who comes in and works with me as their coach, it's customized and taught. I teach them how to do this work for themselves. Okay, whether in a group or one-on-one. And most people don't do it because it is really scary and it takes a lot of freaking work. It does, not gonna lie. What else is in here? So the thing with listening to your intuition and trusting the breadcrumbs, or the golden nuggets as I like to call them, and really following your purpose and following your truth, and getting deeply connected to yourself and to the universe and to the magic carpet. I like to call it like the magic carpet ride. Holy moly, it is terrifying to finally like leap off what we know as the conditioned way of being in this world, and going into the magic carpet ride, which is allowing knowing where you want to go. You have to know your true north. You have to know where it is that you want to go, and that needs to come from here. It can't come from here. Whole other video. And so you need to know what your true north is, and trust that whatever's coming across your radar is going to get you there. And none of it makes any sense until you look back and then you go, oh, I know why I met that person in that weird way, because it introduced me to that thing. And that thing introduced me to that person. And then that person introduced me to this other thing. And now here I am. But if you chart your course based on what you think, and you set out all of those steps for you to take, and you just do those things, and you don't leave it up to listening to you and your intuition and being in alignment, then you're going to end up where I was, where it was like successful, but feeling very disconnected, feeling very burnt out, feeling very exhausted, and just not in alignment with who you are, unfulfilled and frustrated, right? And that's not what I want for you. I want for you to feel much more in alignment and much more centered and much more grounded in your truth, so that when you are manifesting things in your life, they're things that you're like, yeah, this is exactly what I want. And giving you the power when things do manifest and they're not quite what you want, you can say no. So like, for example, if you're single and you're looking for your partner, your next partner, you know how to say no to your pattern, right? So to the same person who's showing up, to say, hey, comfort zone over here. We can be codependent together. We can be whatever, like messed up together. You can say no to that. And even when the 99% person comes up and says, hey, I'm the new kind of person for your life. I'm going to challenge you in ways that you haven't been challenged before, and, poke at you in ways that you haven't been poked before. But I have this huge thing over here that's making it not perfect. You can say, oh my God, this person is like 99% perfect, but that 1% is big enough for me to say no to. And you can say no to that and not be afraid of being alone, right? A lot of times we take on relationships and clients and opportunities because we're afraid that we're going to be alone. We're afraid it's never going to come across our radar again. It's our one shot. No, that's not true. And the more comes across our radar, the more we bat away the stuff that's not perfect. It really, that takes so much courage. And the more the beautiful stuff will start to manifest and come into your life. It just might take a little bit longer. You might have to just like continuously be like in refinement, and you know, have patience and trust that the universe and you are co-creating something really amazing, and it is going to be so much more in alignment with who you are than something that you're going to take on and then like in a couple of months be like, why did I do this? Why am I entangled in this thing? You know, and then it's like a big mess for you to disengage yourself with, right? So the dots only join at the end. Often when we receive our intuition, it doesn't come with a full instruction manual. It doesn't at all. And sometimes it doesn't make sense at all. When you're receiving your intuitive hits, try your best not to analyze them too much. Try not to chew them over in your head. Instead, thank your soul for the information and request some more. Following your intuition is like following a golden thread or walking the yellow brick road without seeing the path ahead of you. It takes trust and faith, and this is so true. Last year, when I was on this path, it was like all of a sudden I lost my ability to see in the future. I couldn't see. There was the great wild unknown. And that was really terrifying for me because I had spent my whole entire life plotting out and planning and seeing my future and like, this is what's going to happen next. And this is what's going to happen next, and goals and all that kind of stuff. And when I stopped getting those visions and I stopped seeing what was next, I was like, holy crap. And my nervous system went like a little crazy, and I was in resistance to it because it was like, oh my gosh, I can't see though. I can't see. And the more I surrendered into that not being able to see and trusted, the more like amazing things and opportunities were coming across my radar. And, you know, it was in moments where I stopped that flow, and I got into fear, and I got into scarcity, and I got into grasp, and I got into control, and I got into trying to make it happen and manipulate the universe in my way. And if I went into victim mode and was like, you know, where is mine? You know, how come I'm not getting my thing? Like, I'm doing all the work, and where's mine? Whenever I'm in those energies, the flow stops for me. And whenever I get back into that faith and that trust and that flow and a different kind of energy of commanding rather than entitlement, it's a very different shift of energy to command versus the entitled, yeah, where's mine? Very different energies there. And navigating and understanding what those two things feel like is a lot of the work of going within, and a lot of the work of, you know, listening to your soul and listening to your intuition. And like I said, this is the work that I've been doing like on myself for a very long time. And the work that I teach people how to do as well. So if this is something that you are interested in learning more about, then you know you can contact me and learn more about how I can support you with this, if it's calling to you. So in the meantime, I will go through this spread. It's kind of personal, and but it's also super cool at the same time how the whole thing rolled out. I literally just sort of went through it this morning just before recording this, and my hit was record this kind of as a training for people and get them to you know, understand the process of how I go through using oracle cards for my own spiritual growth and journey. And you'll see how I interpret each one of these, and how each one of these is also a confirmation of my own intuition and intuitive knowing. Okay, so I'm going to start that now. Okay, so with this spread, the question that I asked was basically, where am I at in my business and serving? And the reason why I asked is because, like I said before, I had turned the dial down on my business a lot so that I could heal, and it wasn't an integrity for me to take on paying clients while I was going through some very deep stuff. I wanted to be very strong for the people that I serve, and I was not in a strong place for myself, let alone them, right? Fill your cup first, as they say. And I took a hit in my business, and which is fine. It's what happens. um, Most millionaires and entrepreneurs know this. There are ebbs and flows, and it's whether or not you can weather the storm emotionally that counts. And so I, got ready to relaunch, and actually did relaunch just before Corona hit. And, so I'm in the process of saying, okay, I know I'm here to serve. I know I'm here to serve at this time. I know that everything I went through last year has really prepared me to be able to handle what's going on right now in coronavirus. I'm keeping very calm, very positive, very optimistic. I have my days where I feel incredibly sad about what's going on, scared, concerned for the world. And also at the same time, I feel an immense amount of joy, an immense amount of gratitude, an immense amount of love, right? Because I see the hidden benefit of what's going on, and wish for others to see that too. And the communities that I roll in, and the friends that I have, we all see the hidden benefit in this, at the same token as seeing the pain and the fear and the very real damage that this is doing to our economy in most, like small businesses and stuff like that. And so I have a small business, and I'm not immune to that. However, I am also not going to get sucked into the vortex of fear and doubt and worry, even though I have been. It's not where I want to live, right? It's where I can go to, because I'm having that sensation and I'm feeling that, of course. But it's not where I live. It's not where I spend my 24/7. And so this spread was an ask to say, okay, I know I'm here for this. I know I'm here at this time for this work. I have these feelings, I have these ideas, and I still feel as if I need a little something to validate my own inner knowing. So, still vulnerable to the outside seeking here. Doesn't make it wrong. It just, I'm so grateful to have a tool like this that can help me remember that, oh yeah, I already know. But because we can't always see these things clearly and things don't make sense, it's sometimes hard to know what's intuition, what's fear, what's a thought, what's this, what's that. And so I use these oracle cards as a way to calibrate and to just be like, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So this spread that I did, it's called a cosmic cross spread. And I do this one, I always do the cosmic cross spread with this particular deck. So this is the Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell. And I'll just start going through the cards one by one. So there's 11 cards. And then I have a bonus one because one fell out of the deck. And whenever a card falls out of the deck, I always consider that my sort of like, and you need to know this too. Like, and also this, and if you don't listen to anything else, listen to this. That's what I always consider the card that falls out of the deck, is this is the one you need to listen to, so you can keep pulling all the rest of them, but this is the one. So if you're reading cards or anything like that, and one falls out of the deck, don't dismiss that one. Take it out and put it aside, or use it as your first or something. Usually I'll take it out and I'll put it aside, and then I'll go into pulling my cards. So when I do a reading, normally what I do is I will get into a very, it's easy for me now to tap into that space because I've been doing this for you know, a really long time. So I can generally just like, bam, I'm there. So, so for me, it is like a full tingle body sensation. And it's almost like I just plugged into something, and at a deeper level. And you know, it took me a long time to develop and to trust that sensation in my body. A lot of goddess work, a lot of dance, a lot of loving my body in order to be able to allow those physical sensations to come up, so that I can communicate, you know, with my brain and with my body about what this is. And it's like a tingling sensation. It's like goosebumps. It's like a head to toe kind of thing, a little pitter patter of my heart. And it feels really good. And I know I'm connected. And so I'll set my question in my deck, and I'll just shuffle. And then when I feel, you know, stop shuffling, I spread out the deck like this. And then I just start, and I just let my hand be guided. So what did I pick here? Awakening. Energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. There you go. That's for you, right? There. This is an awakening. This is a time of awakening right now. And maybe you are somebody who feels like you're awakening, and you're drawn to this material, and you're drawn to me as a teacher for this awakening. So welcome. Hi. Thank you for being here. I've been waiting a long time for people to actually listen to me. Because I know. So the first card, where is it? I made sure I flagged everything. So the first card is this. Now this is for me. So where am I in present time? Okay. So where am I right now? And I just need to find my number one. Sorry. That's 11. One. Here it is. So this card is Sisterhood of the Rose. Beauty and devotion, priestess, mystic, teacher. I said before, somebody called me a priestess, and I was like, ooh, that's like calling myself a nun. That's like calling myself Mother Teresa. That's like calling myself something that I don't know if I'm there. Pardon me, but I am. And I humbly accept that role. And I know that it comes with great responsibility. And what this card is saying, this is the path of devotion and beauty. It means being devoted to seeing and creating beauty wherever you go. Notice the beauty around me. And what I got from this, now remember, this is where I am now, right? What I got from this is, it is safe for me to keep talking positivity at this time. It is safe for me to share photos of my walks and the sparkles in the lake, and, you know, just the beauty of what is occurring right now. I see so much beauty. I really, truly do. I see the pain. I see the pain. I feel the pain. I know that there is pain right now. I am not in toxic positivity, as somebody accused me of last week. I am in love and beauty, and I can see it. And I am not ashamed of holding space for that, because I don't want to contribute to the conversation of fear and keep people held in that vibration, because that's not going to get us through this. It's not about denying that you're in fear or somebody's in fear. It's not about that. It's about saying, I feel your fear. I sense your fear. I know your fear. Your fear is just as effing gorgeous as the love and joy and beauty that awaits us on the other side. So I am going to hold firm. on my belief that there is beauty right now, that we can be in positivity and faith and trust. We can be in joy and happiness at the same time as watching the world like kind of collapse around us. Both of those dualities exist at all times. And this is a perfect lesson for our own personal lives, because when the shit hits hits the fan in our personal lives, when we haven't been listening to the niggle, when we haven't been listening to our intuition, when we haven't been following our own truth, and things explode for us, which they do when you don't listen to your intuition, right? You're not listening to the signs, and then bam, big things happen in your life. It's also a beautiful blessing. So when you know, if your partner cheats on you, for example, don't tell me you didn't know. Of course you knew. Of course you knew. We all know. We just don't listen because we don't want to believe it. And when we are in that state of denial of not seeing, then we set ourselves up for great chaos. And then when the chaos hits, if you do not have these skills and tools that I'm teaching you, your life is going to fall apart. It's going to crumble all around you. And some of you might be experiencing that because you haven't been prioritizing your own self until maybe now. And that's okay. We all hit our journey when we hit it, right? And I am not apologizing for bringing beauty and love and light and promise of positivity to this world. I don't want to be a contributor to the fear. I'm not denying that the fear is not here, but I don't want to be a contributor to it. So thank you. This is a confirmation that I'm on the right track. So the second one, what is your soul calling you to do? There's two. So this one is trust the niggle. And I'm like, okay, what's the niggle? So trusting the niggle is that annoying niggling feeling, like poke, 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 that I was just talking about a minute ago, right? That thing where it's like, you kind of know something's up, you know, but you're ignoring it. You don't want to look at it. You don't want to believe it. No, that person can't. No, that's just my imagination. No, it's just my pattern. No, it's just my fear, right? Whatever. It can also be, you know, the niggle that says, quit your job and write a book. The niggle that says, share more of your spirituality. Let people know that you are a priestess and a healer, and stop hiding behind the business that you built years ago. It's not relevant anymore. Start stepping into this next version of yourself and trust that the right people are going to find you and want to learn more from you. Trust the niggle. And that's been what's coming out for me is, you know, oh God, like I want to come out of the closet. And that's what my soul is calling me to do, is to just spend as much time in this space as absolutely possible, because this is what brings me the most joy. I get so much joy. I am so fucking happy right now. And yes, I just threw an F-bomb in here. I'm so happy right now, like totally, totally happy right now to do this, to talk to you, to educate, to inspire, to give you, to teach you something, and also be working on myself at the same time. This brings me such an immense amount of joy. Like really, for real. I love it. And I'm so excited that I get to do this. Position 3, what is rising in you? And this excitement and joy that I feel is available for you too. I didn't believe this was possible for me at all. So this is Imrama. Where are you being called to journey to? And so again, what's rising in you? So what's coming up for me, right? The Celtic word for Imrama means journey of the soul. a voyage on which we don't know where we are going, but our soul knows the way. If you pulled this card, you're either being called on a soul journey or already on one. It could be to a physical, ancient place or metaphoric. So this past week, I got the very strong intuitive hit to get into Tantra. And Tantra isn't just about sex. Tantra is, it is a seeking study of inner knowing and also connecting our very strong, powerful energy in our body and understanding how to navigate and move that energy around our body so that we can really, know ourselves at a very deep cellular level, and open up our hearts even more, and ultimately attract and manifest the life we are here to live and be. It is that yoga came from Tantra. So it is a very, very, very ancient healing modality that I didn't know that until just last night. And the more I'm learning about it, the more I'm like, whoa, this is what I've been wanting to learn. I've learned so much about spirituality over the last couple of years, but it was very splintered. It was off and off here and off here and off here. And in the very first lesson that I had last night in a program that I joined, it got all brought together in this one modality, which is Tantra and Kundalini. And those practices have been calling me for a really long time. And last year, it called me and I was like, okay, who teaches this? Like, I know I want to learn more about this. So who teaches this? And I went online and, asked around and I Googled, and nothing really surfaced. Nothing really came to the surface because I wasn't ready yet. Even though I was there, it was there. I wanted to learn it. The human Krisha, wasn't ready yet. I had to go through some other stuff first. I had to deepen my own feminine intuition. I had to deepen my goddess work. I had to deepen my intuition. I had to deepen my devotion to my practices, making sure that I was doing them every day as opposed to every once in a while, right? Like, I needed to become devoted to this practice. And then last week when I was like, Tantra, like literally that's how it came out. I was like, oh yeah. I put it out on Facebook, and within 24 hours, I had the resources that I needed in order to be able to get into this journey. This is what's rising in me. This is what my soul is calling me to do right now, is to learn ancient wisdom, because it is so familiar for me and so much a part of what I'm here to share. I'm really excited about this work because it is going to add like a very rich, like velvet, like gold, like platinum, like truffle, flavor, feeling, sensation to an already very rich body of work. The body of work that I teach and that I have is a tapestry and a synthesization of a lot of different modalities out there. Right? I combine a lot of things in my teaching because I am a seeker and I have been learning about a lot of different things, and it's sexy and it's gorgeous. And for anybody who wants to know it and wants to learn it, holy moly, it will change your life. And what I'm already seeing and excited about is this work now is, it's not going to take me in a new direction. It's going to further anchor in the direction I'm already in and allow this depth to be translated to you so that you have an even greater understanding of like how all of this works, how to connect these dots, why you might be seeking, and where you can go, and how you can really start to trust your own inner self in this particular journey. So I'm really excited about this, to learn more for myself, and like I said, to add it as a beautiful like icing on the cake of what's already added. So the next one is soul gifts. And I do not remember what this one is. Okay. Soul gifts. The Great Gathering. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits and soul tribe. You're being called to let your intuition move you physically. You're connected to a group of souls who are weaving a web around the planet. And as you travel and share your creations, something is rethreaded. You're either being called to connect with others who are like you at a soul level, or that you already are. You're being called to gather groups of people either by leading them or becoming part of a group that can support you in your soul's personal mission. You're part of a group of souls who agreed to be here at this time in history to heal yourself, your ancestral line, and the planet. To raise consciousness so that we can continue to call this magnificent place home for eras to come. One of many consciously choosing to devote your life to something greater than yourself. That is exactly true, and must be true for you too if you're watching this. There must be something in you that says, I'm here for more, I'm here for more, there's more, there's more. And it's not more stuff. It's more alignment. It's more truth. It's more integrity, right? It's more of your fully expressed self being here on this planet and evoking change. This work that I do has never been about me. It's always been, how can I help you so that you can go and help everybody else? Even when I was doing nutrition work when I first started this business, what I loved about it the most wasn't that, you know, my clients were losing weight or feeling better about themselves or changing their relationship with their bodies and themselves and seeing all their sabotages, patterns, and all that kind of stuff. And as my business evolved, I was helping people launch businesses, and watching them launch a business, launch something that they were super passionate about was so amazing. I loved all of that. I loved watching people grow and evolve and put something out into the world that was coming from their heart and their soul. And it was more than that. It was all the people in their lives that they impacted. They impacted a lot of people because they did their work. And so everybody that they touched was impacted. That is how we evoke change. That's the soul tribe I'm calling in. Those are the people I'm calling in for myself. And those are the people I'm like for my own personal journey. And these are the people that I'm calling in to work with, so that I'm the guide and the leader helping you with this, so you can step into this, so that you can go and teach this in your way, in your flavor. Your flavor might be sour cream and onion, you know, and mine's something else, ketchup chips, right? Like, oh, I love sour cream and onion too. Maybe your barbecue. Maybe your salt and vinegar, right? It doesn't matter. Your flavor is what's the most important thing here. And when souls gather together in this particular kind of way, then magic happens. Trust me on that. This next one is hilarious. What is being manifested? No. I was like, really? Like, are you serious right now? So, I have been in a holding pattern for a long time, waiting for business to kickstart again. And I'm probably the most impatient person you'll meet, working on that, and can get into, I said this before, can really get into entitlement. Doing all the work, where is it? Where is it? It's not fair. Why isn't it showing up for me? I don't understand. Look at all the stuff that I've done. Blah, 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 blah. Entitlement. Entitlement, entitlement, entitlement versus commanding. Commanding is a very different energy. It is more, it comes from deeper in the body. And whereas that other energy was more up here, like it was It was more up here. It was sucky, very victim-y energy, right? We love it. But it's not the right kind of energy that brings things in. It's more that I now command that my work gets out into the world. I command that now, and that it serves me in return in whatever way, shape, or form that is in my highest and best good, right? So very different energies there. And what this is telling me is you're being called to either pause or say no. Wait until the 100% yes. Timing is everything. Wait for you to receive clear guidance. We all go through times known as waiting periods. And don't try to force things now just because it seems like the only option. Take a breather and wait. So this is really important. The waiting is actually very productive for when the time for movement comes. You'll be ready to dive right in. Use this time to regenerate and ponder what it is that you truly want. Consider the options. If the options are not clear, don't fear, because this time is a gift. So a lot of us right now might be sitting in some sort of, I don't know, about well, definitely we're all sitting in the I don't know what's to come, because we don't know. And also you might be sitting in your own livelihood right now. You might be sitting right now in your own livelihood going, I don't even know now. I don't know what to do. And I've been there for a really long time, and I understand that pain and I understand that frustration. And I also know that every time I go into the fear of it and the grasp of it and the scarcity of it, I get nowhere. And I know that when I really try to get into a space of, okay, surrender, which is incredibly difficult when we're talking about something like your livelihood, because that is survival, right? When we're looking at the hierarchy of needs, security is one of our base needs. If we don't have money coming in, how do we pay for food and lodging and all of that? This is a very real thing to be concerned about, okay? So we're not discounting that at all, which is why at the beginning I was like, money's not happiness. However, it's critical and we need to have it. We're in a world where we have to have it. It's how things are exchanged for now. Maybe not so much in the next few hundred years, who knows? But, and what that card is telling me is just because things are still not generating in the way that you think they're supposed to be generating, it doesn't mean that they're not going to be generating. It just means, please just have a little more patience and a little more faith and a little more trust. And also, what are all the rest of the cards saying in here? I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing, right? So that card is confirmation that the 3D manifestation of what I've been shifting and changing and calling in and vibrating towards isn't physically here yet, because it's not supposed to be, but it doesn't mean that it's not coming. And the more that I can surrender and just be like, okay, I'm good. God is good all the time. My base needs are always met no matter what. I'm not going to be, in a dire situation. My base needs are always met. If I can get to a place of really believing that, which I do after leaving, my relationship and having no money, literally no money, and trusting and having faith that I'm going to be taken care of. And then I was, bam, 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 bam. I can lean into that and trust that. And I'm sharing this with you because it is a very critical place to get to when you are looking at deep uncertainty in your life, okay? And I'm happy to help you with this piece, because this piece is, it's hard. It is really hard to surrender into, because we're talking about survival. It's easy to surrender into manifesting something like, I don't know, maybe even a relationship, even though we want to call in our love partner and stuff like that. It's also like, you know, it's not that great. Like if we don't have a partner, we don't die, right? But if we don't have some sort of basic survival way to eat and way to take care of ourselves, it is very, very, very primal and needs to be acknowledged that this is a very real fear. And it is a very real fear for a lot of freaking people right now. And also, it is an opportunity to invite in the positive side of things, the faith, the trust, an opportunity to look at how you can pivot inside. Maybe you don't really want to do this thing anymore. And this is an opportunity for you to say, I'm so glad to let go of that. Actually, it was causing me so much freaking stress. Maybe now something new can land and I can be more in my purpose and be happier and spend more time with my family and, you know, more time with myself or whatever, right? So this is the positive message that I bring at this time. It's not to say that, you know, this isn't a difficult time. Whoa, come back, come back, come back. Oh no, there it is. And to say that you can also calm yourself down. You need to calm that inner child down. Calm him or her down. Really. That fear and that worry and the situation is still going to be there no matter what. But if you can turn it off for a day and just like, okay, I'm facing this very real situation right now. What could be next for me? How can I turn this around? How can I get myself into a more calmer space so that I can find solutions rather than panicking and grasping at whatever and taking whatever opportunity, like freaking out about it? We cannot get results from that space. We think we can, but we cannot. We need to be in that solid, no, calm down, let's get deeper into who we are so that we can get the answers that we need to move forward in a more integral, aligned way that's then in a year from now going to reap so many more beautiful benefits than if we go from panic, fear, scarcity, grasping, that in a year from now, we're going to freaking regret. Okay. So this message is for you as much as it is for me. Almost done. The next step. So the next step is break the chain. Ancestral patterns healing, rewriting the future. You're being called to heal your family line or free yourself from living the life of your ancestors. Healing trauma from the past, all that kind of fun stuff. And, you know, this is the work that I've really been doing over the last year and a half, well, more than that, but my whole life, but really, truly. And geez, like the last couple of months have been some very deep, like deep work around this and being called even more into inner child work. And I wish I had listened to everybody a long time ago when they said inner child work is where you need to start. I was always like, no, I have no connection to my inner child, because I was pretty traumatized and she never wanted to come out. And now I'm seeing, oh, okay, maybe I should have started there. So, you know, ancestral healing, I don't do that kind of energy work with people, but I know people who do, and it is very important. And the more you can start to really take a look at what is yours and what belongs to your, like what doesn't belong to you. And right now is a perfect opportunity for you to do that because, we have the time, whether we like it or not. We have more of this time to go inward, and our energies are not being dispersed by thousands of people all over the place, right? And so when we can fine tune in to what's ours and what is the energies of everybody else, then we can really like see like, holy crap, When I react that way to that thing, it's because I'm being like my mom, or I'm being like my dad, or like that's something that came from school, some trauma that I had at school or something like that. And it's not who you really are, right? Give yourself a chance to be who you really are on this lifetime. Past life influence. Almost done, everybody. Where is it? Okay. Trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Right? So this goes back to that no. What's being manifested is no. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? Keep facing your true north. I said this earlier, right? Your job is not to pave the path, but simply keep facing your true north and take one step after another. If you do this, you can't go wrong. There is so much truth in that one sentence. It sounds so flippant, and most people will never get there because they're too afraid, because they're of the unknown, because of security, because we've been conditioned to follow goals and steps and hang on to that stuff for dear life. And the more we let go, and the more we trust, and the more we surrender, and the more we have our true north, and then follow whatever shows up from that, the more deeper and richer our life experiences will be. And so if I knew I would be supported, what would I do? This. And that's why I'm recording this video. Oops. Oh no, that was the wrong card. Sorry, that was my potential outcome. What I need to know. Sorry about that. This is what I need to know. So this is the next one. And so this is Lemuria. So this is creating heaven on earth. It's happening. You know, this is, so when they say creating heaven on earth, basically what this means is what you put out into the universe in terms of how you show up is what you're going to get back. Okay. So we all know this. We all know that if we go around with like, our like, you know, doom and gloom and fear-based glasses on, okay, just think about life pre-corona, okay? So if you go around thinking like, negative, like all men are jerks, or I'm never going to get promoted, or the world is a really tough place, or money is so hard to come by, or I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. I'm an imposter. Who am I to think that I can do this, right? When we are wearing those goggles, that is all we're going to see. If we're entitled, if we're all negative, if we're all in that vibration and in that energy, that is exactly what we're going to see. And when we do the work on ourselves and recognize that those are all saboteurs, all of them is your inner judge and your saboteur. Those are all conditioned ways of thinking. It's not you. Believe me, it is not you. I know it feels like it. It is not you. I used to go through life like that, and now I don't anymore. So I know the difference between those two. And when you start to love yourself and you start to work on deprogramming all of that stuff and looking at the truth of it, seeing where it comes from, all that kind of stuff that I just talked about a minute ago, and you really start to go, okay, no, I can have these things. I am worthy. I am somebody who can do this. You know, the world is amazing. The world is fantastic. There's so much beauty in this world. See how this is looping back? These are things I truly believe and always believed, but my conditioning made it impossible for me to access this part of myself, because I felt that this part of myself was too positive. And everybody that I ever encountered was always like, with this, it was too bright. It was too positive. It was too much for people. So I turned it down, turned it down, turned it down, turned it off. Same with my sexuality. My sexual energy is a lot for people to handle. And so I turned that down too. It was even too much for me to handle. So now that I'm turning the dial up on all of those pieces of myself, I'm creating a heaven on earth, because when I see you, I see beauty. When I see the world, even in a rainy, gray day, it's freaking beautiful out right now. I see beauty. I see beauty in the homeless person. I see beauty in violence. I see beauty in places that I never saw beauty before, because I am choosing to see the beauty in that. I still have work to do in this. And it's creating a heaven on earth for me now. So when I go out and I look at the world in this way and have those rose-colored glasses on, I'm now like creating something more beautiful for myself and for my children and for my clients and my family and my friends. I can see the positive in something. So if somebody is like in a down and feeling really shitty about something, I can say, okay, let's shift perspective. What if we looked at it this way? And then it gives them that ray of hope to see something in a new way, in a beautiful way that they wouldn't have seen before. And it gives them that hope and that heart expansion to be able to step into something more beautiful than they would have done before. And again, this is not toxic positivity. This is acknowledging that there's pain and shadow and saboteurs and deep fucked upness in this world. And also there is so much beauty, and we can choose what glasses we're going to wear and how we're going to look at things. So you have a choice in that. You really honestly do. It doesn't feel like it, but it does. So that's what you need to know. That's what I need to know. And that's what you need to know as well, is that we're creating heaven on earth. We have an opportunity to do that. Hopes and fears. And then I'm like literally done. So hopes and fears, Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. Akasha exists in the 5th dimension and the library of souls. All soul contracts, history, gifts, lessons, and more exist here. We have access to this information of the past, present, and future, and can tap into it anytime. If you're waiting for a sign to proceed, this card is it. You're likely living out an important part of your soul's journey, and you're exactly where you need to be. This is very exciting indeed. And this is very exciting because, sorry, I have a call in like a minute. This is very exciting indeed because it is, it is definitely the path that I'm meant to be on. And, you know, to have that hope and fear at the same time. So it's been showing up to me because of the lack of physical manifestation. There's been a lot of fear around, am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be doing this? And this card is saying, yeah, like chill the F out and just stick with it and you will be fine. And my knowing knows that. That's my deep hope. And that is my deep knowing. And it's my fear that keeps stopping me. And so this card is basically saying, like, whatever it is, know that it's divinely guided and will not pass by you. We cannot be passed by the things that are meant for us. We just can't be. It's why bad shit happens over and over and over again. And then good stuff happens because we can't be bypassed by that stuff. And the bad stuff, quote unquote, is just here to remind us to go back on track. So I did the last card already, which was the potential outcome, which is trust your path. If you knew you were going to be supported, what would you do? So there's a question for you too. If you knew you were totally taken care of, what would you do? And you don't have to like, you know, blow up your whole life. Just start, just like acknowledge it. Just be like, I want to write a book, or I want to start a business, or I want to leave my marriage, or I want to do something different, right? Just acknowledge it to you. You don't have to take any other step. Just acknowledge it. And then once you acknowledge it, the genie's out of the bottle. And now you can start to follow all of those, everything. The last card, the card that fell out of the deck for me was Pleiades, which is channeling. It's a double mission. It's channeling and uplifting humanity. Pleiadians are a group of star beings dedicated to raising the vibration of the planet, sharing new consciousness through creations and technology. You are a soul who has a double mission: to grow at a soul level and to raise the vibration of the planet. If you've been called to write, speak, or channel, this is your sign to keep doing it. Your work is divinely guided. Of all the signs, the souls, Pleiadians are the chattiest. How long is this? An hour? And so perhaps you have already started channeling some of this work into the third dimension. Thank you for doing your part in the great plan. Your presence and unique light is needed. This card fell out of the deck, and this was the only one I needed. I didn't need all of this. This was what I needed to know. It is okay for me to know that I am here to deepen my own soul knowing and to teach you this too. That's what this is. And that's what this is. And so I thank you so much for being here with me, for watching this entire video. And I trust that you got a lot out of it. You know, like, this really is the work that I have been called to do. And whenever I talk about my own journey, I always try to make it a lesson for you, right? And I talk about my own journey, not to be like, hey, look at all the things I've done, but to say, hey, I'm a freaking normal human who grew up in a really toxic environment and managed to pull myself from that and create something of meaning and significance in my life. And if I can do this, you can do this. That's what this all comes from. And so if anything that I've said has been triggering or upsetting to you, my invitation to you is to look at that, because that is your unseen part of you that is saying, I want to do that too. So look at that. Go there, go and just like unlock that a little bit. And if you've been inspired by this, I would love to hear from you. What inspired you? What actions are you going to be taking from listening and hearing my story, my spread, all of that kind of stuff? What are you going to be doing for your life now that you've seen and heard all of this? These cards aren't just for me. They were for you. And that was why I also got the hit to share this with you, and not just keep it private and confidential to myself. So thank you so much for being here. Oh my God, I feel like so good that I've just done this. And I honestly, I don't know. I'm just so grateful. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'd love to hear from you. I will see you in the next video, and enjoy your day. And remember, there is beauty everywhere if you choose to allow yourself to see it. Okay. So thank you everybody for being here, and I will see you on the next video.